Like, get around, finger transformation. And if you're like me and have started to notice that you're maybe misaligned or having tightness more on one side than the other, I'm going to start today with my right ankle, which I know has been caused by my right hip, some of the left hip as well if you follow some of the other videos. But when I try to get my ankle to come all the way down, I can force it down, but I can feel the tightness and it's stretching on the tissue on the top. So some of the things that I started doing in other videos, ideally I'm starting to do weighted calf raises. I want to get that tissue moving as much as I can to facilitate. And then the other things that I'm going to start to do is loosen the tissue in through the gastroc. So I want to increase my eversion. The tissue started to become extremely tight in and around the ankle, and the tissue is kind of hardened, if you will. So this is where the percussion therapy starts to come in. I'm going to turn this on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start working down in by the gastroc, soleus. Now it's best done if you've kind of followed along the other videos and gotten the hips to start to release. Because we want to release this from both ends. Because we've got to understand our hamstrings attach right up in here on one side and then up in here on the other side. So the more we can loosen those hips, the better I can facilitate my hamstring movement, gastroc movement. This is why I'm kind of, again, doing deadlifts, hinging, exercises, weighted calf raises, almost daily, if not like every other day. And then what I do is I get in here with the percussion, either through the day or maybe later at night, and just start loosening this fascia. And I've already noticed a huge improvement, but I notice it's still restricted in some ways, as I kind of just showed you when I was sitting down. Now another thing I kind of do is just get in down here. Best to do with like a sock or something heavy on, and get into all this kind of adhered tissue. It shouldn't be painful or uncomfortable. If it is, and the tissue hasn't started to loosen enough up through the extensors, as well as possibly the gastroc. Another good inside is to get inside here. Kind of get right in next to that shin bone. And really the only head that I use on any of these percussion devices is kind of the bullet point. It's more, if you think about it, like a thumb, like if you're getting a deep tissue massage and trying to get it to release. Ideally it's for larger muscles, but it can be used for any and all. And I find it a much more effective tool than some of the other ones. Now maybe if I wanted to just kind of warm up, I might use one of the flatter heads. But I haven't really noticed any kind of personal need for it. I've messed around with all the heads, trying different ones. This one I can change my angles on it better. And honestly, the speed too. When you do these, I got it on a little bit lower speed setting right now, but I usually put it at pretty much the highest speed setting that you can get. The faster the vibration, the better it's going to release the tissue, but also as well it's going to honestly not even hurt. If it does and the tissue in that area is too excited and you want to move to another area, one of the other big areas of concern for a lot of people is the adductor of the big toe. So because of my repeated ankle sprains on my right foot, my adductor of the big toe has started to do too much. I had gotten plantar fasciitis a few times, and I realize now that this would have been a great time to start the percussion back then. I just didn't know enough of what to do or how to do it. I did the old golf ball trick, which works and gets you out of pain, but I think the biggest thing you got to realize is whenever we get kind of muscle cramps or spasms, the fascia is becoming really too excited, and then it starts to change or alter our movements. And a lot of times it doesn't just kind of magically go away. We think the pain disappears, so everything's fine and we go back to normal. But we might not notice that we're off maybe a millimeter, or we changed our gait or the way the foot moves. I can notice mine changing and moving as the years have progressed, but I had no clue of what to do. Everything out there was strengthen, strengthen, strengthen. And then even if I was getting a massage or some work done, it was minimal. As where, you know, what I've done with the work in this in just a few months has far outweighed the amount of money that I spent or the time that I spent getting massages or adjustments or any of that kind of other self-care that we do. So each day I'm just spending a little bit of time going in and around it. Same thing with the workouts, you know, cycling daily, you know, nothing long, maybe 20, 30 minutes at the most. But I want to just get my tissue moving, and I want to make sure every movement that I do is as close to perfect as I can get it in terms of the form that I'm trying to readjust. And that's what I've been trying to come out with in some of the other videos of maybe some of the exercises that we're missing, or maybe if you are going to the gym that might just kind of be altered or off a little bit on. And I've been going through with all the kind of exercise knowledge that I have and kind of dissecting the ones that are going to be the most beneficial to kind of repair our movements, get the most out of them, and then also help benefit the use of the percussion device to speed along our recovery, whether it's from pain or we're just looking to, you know, get better movement pattern, get better flexibility, and help kind of reverse that aging process, if you will. And this will definitely do that. I didn't realize how tight I was becoming over the years. I mean, I knew it, but I feel like we all do when we just feel that's part of the aging process. You kind of chalk it up to old age. And stretching alone will get us so far. I try to do this with just stretching too in the beginning. And it helped, but for the amount of time and effort that I was putting in, it just wasn't worth it. And that's when I started working more with the percussion device and sped up, A, my recovery time, B, my flexibility, and honestly I can get this done myself as opposed to going to somebody and getting it done now. I have the knowledge and understanding of what areas are key and kind of what you're looking for when you're trying to feel this. Once you get the tissue moving, it somewhat becomes much easier to understand, especially if you're familiar with soft tissue manipulation and movement. But even if you're not, if you kind of palpate the areas that you're working. Now again, I'm doing the same thing on my left too. I'm just going to demonstrate my right. Now they're not quite the same issue, like I can sit back on this one. I'm more tight, or tighter, on the outside here. My vastus lateralis, my hamstring, it's just, they're just adhered. So that IT band kind of sticks. If you ever seen it dissected, it's like silly putty or slime. It just kind of sticks and adheres. It doesn't move very well, and it attaches kind of unintentionally to the hamstring, vastus lateralis. It runs right over it, and it just it sticks to it, and it gets stuck, and it doesn't allow the proper movement. And then if we get tight in our hips and our glutes, it just kind of, again, it starts to trickle down. I had lost my definition in my legs, and I didn't even realize it or notice it. You know, when my leg would be extended, I could see it, but I used to have really good definition with my knee completely flexed, but I lost it, and I realized, again, the tissue just became really tight up and through here. So each day I'm just kind of working it a little bit, and then working those movements. Like I started back in on my knee extensions, just making sure that we're getting enough movement, because again, even just body weight, it's not enough. I realized I did body weight for years, and I thought that was the answer. Now maybe if you're a gymnast and you know, incredibly in shape from the get-go, then sure, and you don't sustain too many injuries. But yeah, for all the other videos for the ankle, the hip, you know, just keep working at it. It's the best advice I can give you. Any questions, comments, please feel free to ask things.